Welcome, everyone, to a very special major Wrestling Figure podcast. I'm your host, Matt Cardona. We got a very special guest this week. He doesn't have an action figure yet, but I have a feeling it's coming very, very soon. QT Marshall, what's up, my man?
What up? How are you?
What's up, dude?
Great.
Thanks for doing this, man. It's cool to have you on.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm excited. I'm a big action figure guy behind the deep down. Just I don't tell everybody.
Yeah,
That's
the rumor on the streets, bro. We want to get to the bottom of it.
when you texted me about a podcast, I thought you meant maybe you were starting your own. You wanted me on. I was like, what's going on here? But you're
I just wanted
about customs. I'm like, oh
yeah, I just want to talk about action figures, man. I haven't been able to, and a buddy of mine that I grew up with, we still communicate once in a while, and he's the guy I used to paint customs with in his basement. So Shawn Michaels would wear a new outfit on the pay-per-view. We'd run downstairs like children, which we were 11, 12 years old, and then just paint the new outfit, and I always had my hand was always a lot steadier. So mine always came out better, but he always had duplicates. So he was okay. I was ruining the ones that my mom spent all her hard-earned money on.
Ooh.
Yeah, she wasn't too happy.
So let's get into it. So what's your first memory of wrestling figures?
Okay, so Hasbro's. I mean, we had LJNs lying around. Everyone just had them there,
Totally, yeah.
But
that's how my earliest memories are like. I don't remember them in stores, but I just remember people having them or whatever.
Right.
Hasbro's.
Yeah, going to friends' houses and having the LJNs plus the wrestling buddies. The Ultimate Warrior wrestling buddy was everyone always had one of those.
Yeah.
And then I just 1 year for Christmas I had gotten the large. It looked like a Hasbro, but it was just really big Ultimate Warrior with the black trunks.
The pull string.
Pull string. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, so that I remember. And then I just started going to the stores and seeing them. And I told my mom I wanted them. And I think the first one I ever got was El Matador.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I got the, And my mom hit the lottery when I was 10. And it was for 30-something thousand. And my brother
literally hit the lottery.
Literally 2032 straight in box. She had it about 20 times.
Wow.
So we did really well. And my brother wanted Panasonic 3DO. And I wanted wrestling figures. So she was able to, I guess she had a connection. So my mom used to work at this go-go bar as a bartender on the sports bar side up in Secaucus called AJ's. And that's where Undertaker and all them used to go. So when I was brought into wrestling really young, we'd get a phone call hey, bring the kids up here. There's someone that they got to meet. And it was Undertaker and Paul Bearer. They were just trying to go to the strip club,
Right.
And my mom was forcing them to meet us at, midnight. But she was able to,
and not very hard to believe that story.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah. Wow.
And then that year for Christmas, she just got me as many as she could. I probably had 30 different action figures. And then when I realized they would the other thing is they did a lot of collectible shows at the mall in Freehold, New Jersey, where I'm from. And it was F&B Promotions. And then all these different places would come and they would all set up their action figures. And that's when I realized man, this Yokozuna out of package is $35. I can't afford that. You know what I mean? I never understood it. But we always figured out a way to get them. No matter what, mom figured it out, but I never had red Yokozuna. I only had the white and black. That was the green card, right?
That's the harder one to get.
That's like a turnaround. Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
What, the white and black one was hard?
The white's way more rare and value. I mean, they're both really up there at the moment, but the red was on the red card. That's a little bit more common. The white was on the green card. That's the deathbed of Hasbro's, and not a lot of people have those.
So I bought that one out of package at the mall. I remember it was $35. I remember because my mom was having a heart attack.
What year is that? 1995?
95, 96.
That's astronomical to pay $35 for a loose action figure. Yeah.
That she's what are you going to do with this? I'm what do you mean? I need him. I need him. You know what I mean? You don't understand.
Yeah.
He's not even in the company.
Have the red and black one.
No, I didn't have the red and black one because I was buying them loose because I figured I was opening them anyway. So a lot of them I was just buying loose at these card and collectible shows.
Yeah.
So when you're customizing, are these Hasbro's or are they Bone Crunchers or something?
Full on Hasbro's.
Oh wow.
So then I met this guy. His name was Mark, and he owned MVP Collectibles in Franklin Park, New Jersey, which was it literally looked like your back wall, but the whole store, right?
Yeah.
And he made his own customs. So now I was in a whole new world of oh my God, he's got the NWO. How does this happen?
Right.
God.
But he was charging like, for the set of NWO was like $150 for the three of them. It was like all national.
Genius.
Oh my God. So I couldn't afford those, but my friend James, he still has them. So he just sent me a picture, and I'm on my phone now, so I can't send it to you guys. But when we get off, I'll send you the pictures.
I put it in right here.
We'll put it in right here.
Yeah, Mark can put it in post, and we can show everybody.
Perfect. Yeah, post-produce it. Yeah. So I ordered the first set of Bone Crunchers because I didn't know that they were Bone Crunchers. I just knew that they were a new set.
New figures, yeah.
And it was Diesel. And everyone always wanted the Diesel figure.
Right.
And then when we ordered them, they were like $14 a piece or something, 12. I forget what he had charged, maybe 20 even. And I got them, and I just remember like buying them and having buyer's remorse right away. Because now you're stuck with 6 action figures. What are you going to do with 6 of them? You know what I mean?
I created a fake fed with the Series 1 of Bone Crunchers and 2, because you really only got 3 more guys in Series 2.
Right.
And I used the karate fighters that were popular at that same time. They were the same height. I had to like make this like hybrid wrestling league with karate fighters.
Okay.
Samurai Ninja and Tiger Ninja were my light heavyweight division.
There you go.
There you go. Yeah, those early Jacks, I don't know if you remember this from the time, but they were made so shitty. Like their joints were like Woody from Toy Story, and like even now, I've been trying to get them in on card, but to find Razor Ramon that actually has like Razor's arms and not Bret Hart with the pink wrist tape or a gold with Undertaker arms. And I've talked to the designer from Jax. He just said that like this was the factory's first time making wrestling figures, so like they didn't realize that people had specific arms and like that's what really mattered.
Crazy.
like the Hasbros, right? Like Macho Man, he never had his hands painted on like the one with the trunks, with the, I forget what, the Shawn Michaels body, the Rick Martel.
Yeah.
So I always used to wonder about that too. Like, man, why did they get lazy on us, But, I get it. But yeah, I remember, like I said, so I've opened up a Bone Cruncher before and like literally with an X-Acto knife, opened it up. And it's like this white, my hands are all scarred up from like I used to cut their hair off and stuff, the Hasbros. Yeah. So there's a process. You put them in hot water.
Of course.
Then it gets the plastic a little, and then you cut the hair. And my grandfather bought me a handheld Dremel from Home Depot.
Well,
that had all
like
the different
this is like next level stuff here.
Dude, if I wish so I made a Triple H Hunter Hearst Helmsley out of a Tatanka. And it was a Tatanka head and a Macho King body. And then I molded the horse pants on them on the sides with this stuff called Marblex. Oh, we were fucking hardcore.
Yeah. So then you must have did the hair like that too, because right away I'm going, where's that beautiful Triple H mane?
I did a very long ponytail, and then when I met them at the Freehold Mall, he put HHH on the stomach and China put China on the back.
Wow.
And
that's cool.
Now I have a picture of the back with China on it, and I don't know what happened to the action figure. It's completely gone.
Really?
So. Yeah, I mean, with all the times I've moved, and like I was an extra at WrestleMania with Triple H with the Shield for WrestleMania 27. I don't even have the Shield. That's how bad I am with holding on to things. They made us take it. They were like, you need to take this home with you. And I was like, yeah, sure. And over the course of moving so many times, I don't know where it went.
So your collection right now is non-existent?
So I have a Cody figure that Brandy left in the locker room. I have a Dustin figure that I guess a Gold Dust figure that somebody sent. It might have been you, Matt. And then I have this, Brian. So my aunt bought me this, and you'll like it. It's autographed by you.
What? All right, I got nothing here. I mean, I always say that's a Kurt Hawkins that comes with a free Brodus Clay, but why?
I have no idea. I really don't. And I'm like, okay, so when this came out, God, what is this, 5 years ago, maybe?
2012, I believe.
Okay, so I'm 27. Not for nothing. But, I love my aunt and who bought it for me, but I don't know why. So I've just had it sitting in my closet, and it's made all the moves that I've made.
Oh, and it's probably you could probably get $100+ from one of the major marks for that.
Oh, there you go.
Easily.
Well, I'll give it. I mean, I could give it back. I don't know. And I can't figure out why I have it. So she also bought me a blue blazer Jax Min on card. I have.
Okay.
So,
that's finally going back up in value too. That's a good.
Is it? Because every time I looked, it was like $40, and I'm like, what the heck? This guy, do you know who this is?
Yeah.
What's it at now?
I think
probably
it might
like
be
60.
Up to.
Yeah, I think 60, 70, I would say. Min on card.
At one point, it was like in like what is it, 99 when it comes out, it like skyrocketed, of course,
it's like
because
over 100 or
it passes
something
away
point,
before it comes out. But when you actually look at the figure and dissect it, it's horrible. It's just a Patriot mask.
Horrendous.
Oh,
It
man.
has like USA molded on the back.
It has Brett's torso. So if you have it without the cape, there's an indent of Brett's hair. His whole back, neck, and upper back is collapsed because it's supposed to fit Brett's hair. It's horrendous.
Oh man. Yeah, see, that was always my thing is like when I opened up the magazine. So I had a subscription to WWF Magazine from 93 until it stopped. Every year, my grandmother just bought it for me. And I remember opening it and seeing all the action figures lined up. So, Matt, I think I spoke to you about this one. What was it, the Shawn Michaels with like the Bret Hart legs or whatever?
Yeah,
or Virgil legs?
Bret Hart legs and Virgil like torso.
Yeah, like, where's that one? Do you have that? Is that a real thing?
I have been looking for it. It's a prototype. It has to exist because in that photo, that's from the Undertake 'Em All, I think.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's like the infamous like punch Shawn Michaels, and it just never came out that way. And they just gave him that Macho Man body, which I think makes sense because they paint the gloves so you don't even realize that he's not that the tape is painted.
Yeah.
We're not painted.
Yeah. I mean, shockingly enough, like Broski and a couple other psychopaths have like unearthed these one of ones or whatever over the years, like, some crazy stuff like that. So I'm sure somebody has that Shawn Michaels, and I'm sure it's like a diehard collector that just doesn't even want anyone to know that he or she has it because they don't want offers to be, constantly coming at them for it because they're not giving it up.
It's one of three things. Like Brian said, like some guy has it and doesn't want to tell anybody, or someone has it from Hasbro and it's like in their garage or basement in a box, or it was just thrown out because it wasn't meant to be saved. It wasn't meant to be kept.
Right.
Yeah.
No one thought, oh my God, in 30 years, first of all, there wasn't podcasts went around, so no one thought there was going to be this thing called a podcast, and these grown men are going to be talking about these prototype toys. Like nobody was thinking that.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw Cody's LJN figure the other day at the show. I don't know.
I was trying to sneak eyes on that. I saw people walking around, and I was
this is going to sound creepy, but I need it in my hands.
Okay, well,
because for me to really love it, I need to know if it's going to have that true LJN like girth and feel.
So I think it looks more like, if not to downplay the action figure because I don't have one, so I'm a little bitter. But I did get scanned last time. It actually looks like those WCW ones. Remember those when they came out?
San Francisco Toy Makers.
The San Francisco Toy Makers.
Oh my God! Yeah. So I remember going to KB because that's where you bought all the toys, and it was. The Hasbros were 3 for $10.
Yep.
And then WCW was coming out with theirs. And I used to call every day. There was 2 stores. There was one upstairs and downstairs in the mall. I would call both stores. I would after school. This is what kind of psychopath I was.
Your mall had 2 KBs?
Yeah, one upstairs and one downstairs.
That is like
I believe it was
what the heck?
It was either 308-9595 or 3039. That was the phone number. That's how psycho I am. And I used to call. And I would say, like, hey, do you have WWF figures? And then they would say yes. And then I would say, okay, which ones? And they would put me on hold. And then they'd come back with a list. And then I'd be like, okay, can you hold this one, and this one? And then my mom would take me. And I remember when they said they had WCW ones. And I went there, like, super excited. I was expecting at least Galoob style because, I'm 11 years old. And then they got these buttons and they're vibrating. And I'm like, this is the weirdest.
Oh, those, man. Those.
You know what I mean? Like. My mom will kill me, but I did buy the ring, which had the worst ropes in the world.
Oh, the worst.
Yes, the figures were so heavy and the ropes were so light and couldn't do anything.
Like hair tie.
Yeah.
Yeah, WCW wasn't the best at those things, but
no, they tried. Actually, the original Galoobs I always liked because they were in scale with the Hasbros and they didn't move, but they looked the part. I still like them.
So my friend that grew up across the street from me was from Florida. So he was a WCW guy. I had no idea what WCW was because I'm a WWF guy. Yeah. And all of a sudden he's like, hey, I got these action figures. You want them? And he gave me this case that opened up and it had Sting on it. You have the case?
It right here in my thing, yeah.
Jesus,
I have it too. I'm looking at it in my shelf right here.
Yeah. So and then I opened it and he just had all of these action figures. Like, yeah, you can have all of them. And I was like 11. I was like, yeah, of course. So, and then my Sting became Tommy Dreamer real quick when I started customizing.
No. Well, Tommy would be flattered to hear that.
He wishes he had that.
Yeah, he wishes he had a little rat tail like that.
Yeah, I know. Well, old school Tommy Dreamer,
That's true.
So,
it does kind of resemble Tommy with the little flat top. A little bit.
Oh yeah, you can make it work.
Those seductive suspenders, just covering the nips. Original.
Well, I remember putting the shirt on him and molding, getting rid of the abs and putting the ECFNW. Yeah. I just wanted to write FNW.
Right.
That was the best part.
So when did you get out of the game? How did it
So man, I probably basically once they started making all the Titantron live and and then as you just grow up, you kind of, I don't want to say you grow out of it because you guys obviously don't, and you figured out a way to make it profitable.
We admit this all the time. We made it a secret, the Attitude Era boom is a little over, and it wasn't so cool at school to be this diehard wrestling nerd. So
I'd go
and collecting toys, on top of it. So we just did it. We just didn't make it so publicly known,
I'd go to Toys R Us to get gift receipts because I didn't want the clerk to know that I was collecting toys.
Oh man, that's good. Well, I mean, are you really a wrestler or a wrestling fan if you don't go in a store and go down the toy aisle?
Right.
My wife laughs every time I go to Walmart and I have to go down the toy aisle. I just want to see what they look like. And, the odds are I'm not going to buy it. But
if I were a casual fan, and it's very hard for me to say that because I've just been a diehard fan my whole life, but to take that step back, I think I would at least, like you said, take the walk and see who they're making and who's getting pushed and whatever, kind of do that perspective of it.
Yeah, I don't care if I sell one. As long as my mom gets one and I get one of me, that's all I care about.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I know they're not going to be the fastest selling, but you never know. I mean, AEW.
I don't know, man. Every Jazzwares AEW figure has been red hot, and we're.
Why do you think that is?
I think it's just excitement. Wrestling figures in general are just on fire. We're talking all this vintage stuff. All that's on fire. The modern day products are on fire, and it's just perfect timing. They're in great hands. Jeremy Perdauer and Jazzwares. He's literally the godfather of wrestling figures. And we're coming up on the 1 year of them being in people's hands, and it's still just red hot. So I'm sure, especially with all the TV time that you've had lately, you've got to be. No, you have, and you got to be in the pipeline for sure. I'd be pretty confident in saying that.
Especially now they have the Unrivaled line, so it's basically 6 new figures a month.
Right.
They're going to Unmatched, Unrivaled. Which one is the first one? Unrivaled's the first one?
Yes.
I think so.
Unmatched is the new line that's debuting with the Cody LJN. Yeah.
So have you been following? I mean, have you been extra interested in the figures that have been coming out? Are you following who's coming out? Are you really into that?
Yeah, I mean, there's always buzz on social, so I always see, and then one of my friends, Damian Priest, he's got his own now, and it's just cool to see these people that you started with that they work hard and eventually. I remember when Ring of Honor was coming out with theirs, and they have some dumb looking action figures, but
we don't even
we've buried them enough.
We've talked about this too much to even get into it. But yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah.
It's an unfortunate situation. Let's just say.
Well, I just think man, and I do remember texting Kevin Owens when he got his Hasbro one, and I was like, hey man, not really jealous of your success. I am jealous that you have a Hasbro figure though. That's pretty cool,
Yeah.
Fuck everything else. That's the one that
has 2 of them. They just repainted
the shirt.
He has 2.
Jesus. Yeah. Yeah. That would be my goal. When I saw you guys come out with yours, those things, Cody was explaining to me what it was. And, cause I was like, man, that's cool. It's them, Earl. And he was like, yeah, that's a special edition. I was like, I want one of those, but he's like, well, you're under contract with AEW. I was like, yeah, but still, I want one, maybe you could make one of my real name or something, but again, it won't sell. So it's just a matter of me buying them. But yeah, so, I mean, I still pay attention to what's going on. And I do certain ones you really love to look at the detail and stuff because deep down, I like to draw. I like art. It's cool. And the way, especially customizing, that was always so cool to me to transform these action figures into new ones. And especially if you have really a steady hand and stuff, I probably couldn't do it now because I'm so amped up on pre-workouts and stuff. I'd mess it up. But I remember trying about 6 years ago, I did try to redo one, and I was going to bring it with me today to show you guys. And it's a Rick Martel. And I took the Santino head off of one of his figures and I put it on top, and I was making a QT, but it was he's a little too lean. You know, I don't know.
Well, that's all action figures, right?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm hoping for with the
unless you're Brian Cage, who got ripped off. He was less jacked than he is in real life.
Oh man,
action figure, which is pretty hard to do.
I just want like the outline of abs and no bald spot, and we're good. That's all I care about. You know, that's it. We're good to go.
If Jazzwares came to you today and said, QT, you can design your first figure, how would you have it? Would you like street clothes with the bowling shirt? Would you do like that bloody like match up with Dustin or ring gear? What would you do if you had one figure?
So I bought white boots a couple of weeks ago and I wore them on dark. And the only reason I wore them on dark is because right after I bought them, Tony messaged me and was like, hey, really love the all black that you're wearing. And I was like, damn it, I just bought these like really nice white boots.
I love it. That's so pro wrestling.
Yeah. So I wore them anyway. And they looked really nice with the black trunks and the black knee pads. But if I were to design it, I would go with what I wear now. I would wear, the black trunks with the factory logo on it, my name on the front, black knee pads, low cut black boots so my calves can show, elbow pads.
Accessories?
I would want my little half zip, which is, I'm going to let the secret out now. It's just an Under Armour shirt that we covered up the logo.
The Major Brothers wore the same thing. Exact same thing. Under Armour shirt customized.
That on the side. I would have that one on the side because what's that?
Ring steps to sit on.
Oh yeah, definitely. And that's the biggest thing is like, I would get these action figures that like Macho Man that had the white with the frills or, whatever they're called. How could you play with that? Like, I mean, come on. I understand what you're doing here and you're just trying to sell more action figures. But like if someone bought me that one, I'd be like, what am I going to do with this?
As a kid, I literally looked at my mom and shrugged my shoulders like, come on with this.
Yeah, you can't win the Royal Rumble like that, you know?
That's as a kid. Now as a 36-year-old dude staring at it back in my case, I literally can lock eyes with it. It looks awesome because it's very toyetic and it's art, like you said, it's art. Now it's cool. When I'm trying to like have a rockin' ass match, no.
Right. Well, when you guys were younger and you played with the action figures, right? Because we all did.
When we were younger.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. How did you?
Yeah, I'm not sitting next to this Paul Bearer Bendham or anything right now.
This was always a weird thing. Like I used to have to sit like open leg with the ring like in between my legs because I couldn't sit cross leg. That's because I was too fat.
Pretty sure that's how I sat too.
I was like totally psycho, so I had to sit on my knees for like the opposite reason you're saying because if my legs wouldn't be in the arena. You know what I'm saying? Like,
okay.
One time I was in high school. I filmed myself playing. I had like this giant Royal Rumble, and for some reason I thought this would work and hide me. I wore a black long sleeve shirt and black gloves.
Man.
I thought like watching it back, like you wouldn't see my arms.
Yeah, there you go.
But I wasn't 5. I was like 15. Like, what was I
doing? It's okay. Well, the biggest thing is that I learned. When my stepfather first came over for the first time, he was just on the first date with my mom. I was playing with fire and action figures. So I figured out if you took tinfoil and created like a little, like folded the edges up, and then you put a little bit of lighter fluid, you could literally spark it on fire on the wrestling table, the wood one that broke like this.
Yeah.
And then when you drop the action figure on it, the fire goes out right away. So here I am, and this guy just.
We got to put a disclaimer on this podcast and this video.
Yeah, well, don't try it. Don't try it. But the fire would go right out. So I was having hardcore matches, and this guy walks in and he's like, "What is this arsonist, little lunatic? Like, go get him some friends."
Yeah.
You know?
It's like Sid from Toy Story.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, like this kid's 13. What is he doing? So,
Broski, what your method was just straight hairspray?
So what I did, it was an Inferno match. It was WrestleMania's Kane versus X-Pac, and I had 2 canes. So I had one cane covered in like hairspray. Like I would spray it so it was like soaking with hairspray behind me.
Sure.
And then it was time to light them up. I closed my eyes and I did a switch and put like the one that was covered there, and X-Pac lit that match and he went up. But I was just on my carpet in my room. That wasn't safe.
Oh, yeah. You got to be careful. I mean,
QT's version is a lot more, there's a lot more strategy behind his version.
Science, too.
Yeah, science.
Yeah, for sure.
Holy shit.
Yeah, like I said, I love, all the Hasbro stuff. I'm just still like seeing people have them now. And then I follow a bunch of pages on Instagram that do customs. And I'm still waiting for someone to friggin' make me. You know what I mean? Like they make me in the video games, but no one's creating the cutesy Hasbro custom. So if you're out there listening,
somebody out there,
I'm sure.
If you're out there listening, I'll trade you a ticket to the show or something, whatever we could do.
Oh, now you're gonna have 20 this week.
Oh
sent
man,
to you.
we have some guys in our group that could make a. Unreal.
I know we have some really talented customizers in our Patreon
really?
And stuff. Yeah.
There you go.
Awesome stuff. Yeah.
I think you got to get back into this, man. The whole.
I would. So if I had the time, I would. And like knowing now what they're worth and all this other stuff, it's hard. Like I'll still go on eBay and just type in like Hasbro lot and just figure out what's out there.
Yeah.
And like that yellow ring that is so expensive.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, man, I had 2 of those things, literally 2 of them,
Yeah.
And I would have never thought that, it was going to become what it became. And did anyone ever figure out on those rings, there was a divot around the outside of it, right?
Yeah.
Like what was that for? Because I used to just push the rope down and put it in there just for fun.
I don't know.
No one knows.
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Was that supposed to be the edge of the ring or something?
That's what made the edge of the canvas and the apron. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know,
man. It just collects dust now. That's what it does.
Yeah.
It's a very big dust collector. You're right. Yeah.
I think at the very least you should recollect the Hasbros. Make a nice little display there.
So my friend James, friend James still has his whole collection. They're all loose, but he still has his whole collection. I might just ask him if I could buy his.
Well, even a loose collection would go for a couple $1,000s.
Even beat up with broken fingers and broken actions like the ones Mark has are pretty,
come on,
are pretty expensive, man.
We have a video on our YouTube channel. It's like the history of the Hasbro. So we all took out our figures. So as we're talking about Jake the Snake, we're all holding our figure. And so many times, like Mark's figure, like wouldn't do the move. It'd be like
click,
do
click,
like,
click, click,
click, click. And like Hogan like wouldn't do the gorilla press. It would just
my Hogans are pristine. Come on.
There's a Hogan sitting next to one of our on the wall at the school that Charlie Ramone, who works for AEW, he brought it because he's a like a thrift shop guy.
He would make found it at customs, I bet.
Yeah, so he's just sitting literally, it's on the electrical box at the school, just watching the rings. So it's like, hey, don't mess up. Hulk's watching, it's just like, what the, and of course it's missing a pinky or something like that too.
Yeah.
So
every slammer's missing a pinky. Favorite?
Right. Favorite Hasbro.
Ooh, like one?
I mean,
That's tough.
Yeah. Yeah.
We talked about this at the end of that episode. I don't even remember which one I said, but maybe the Jake the Snake Series 1 with the punch. That was the first one I got.
With the belly? He had the big belly.
That's what I was going to say when you brought up that El Matador. Poor Tito had a pretty good physique, but he got that little pot belly Jake action figure body. That sucks.
Yeah, that was great.
Man, just one. Man, I don't know.
It's hard.
There's too many I love,
Mine is either the first Macho Man or the first Razor Ramon. And like a true psycho, I've tracked down the original artwork for these things because back in the day, you couldn't just make things on computer. There were no there was a computer, but you weren't designing toys on a computer, making these 3D renders. Someone literally had to go and draw these things. So I have the drawings. I used to have them hung up, and I just kind of ran out of room. So if I ever get a bigger house with a bigger toy room, I'll hang them up. But it's cool to have the hand-drawn drawing, the original, not a copy, and then have the actual figure.
Was the first Razor the red and black one? Was that the first one? Yeah. And he had the open hand too, like this, right? The other hand had the hole in it?
Yeah.
Or no? Okay. Like the one, the clothesline was the clothesline, but the other hand was like the...
Yeah, I think like they both have the open hand.
For
the scepter hand?
Macho scepter hand.
Right.
Yeah, because like
the scepter
they just
hand.
they modified like a Macho Man. Did you ever know, so Macho King, did you know that they make the same one, but it says Macho Man on the butt? Did you know that?
No.
Yeah.
No. What's more...
The one in the purple trunks. I think I wouldn't say one's more rare than the other, but as a kid, for instance, so Macho King comes out in the purple trunks. He's got the crown, the scepter, and then the next set, to me, it's the same figure except no crown and scepter. So I'm like, I don't need that. But it's not until years later I realized that one says Macho Man on the butt and not Macho King.
So you need both if you're doing
both. If you're a completist, you need both.
Yeah.
What
I was always a big fan of the Doink figure.
Oh, yeah. Doink figure was next level with the real hair.
Yeah.
The flocked hair, if you will.
Right, with the hair. And then the other one I liked was obviously The Undertaker was a cool action figure, except as a customizer, when you took his hat off, he had a flat head.
Yeah.
It's just a flat head with like a little square on top. So we would we would end up molding the rest of the head. And yeah, it was pretty cool back in the day, but I wouldn't have time to do it now, but I'd like to. I always say that about drawing and customizing. I'd like to go back to it, but
there's a wild amount of Hasbros with hats on, like Skinner and Berserker as a helmet. You're trying to have a match with him.
Man, you were just talking about with the
the Macho Man.
That Macho Man would have been so much better if that jacket came off. If like the Undertaker, like the jacket, it would just come off like
right.
And the hat came off.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Way better.
Undertaker, man, it's a cool action figure.
Yeah.
And then like I was saying, I had the mail-aways because I was really into it. Yeah, I had the Hulk Hogan mail-away.
Do you know about those?
Destroyed. I'm a huge Hasbro. If it comes to Hasbro, I don't want to say I know as much as I know a lot more than the average person because I was just really into it. And like I said, especially dissecting them and taking them apart and figuring out how they worked and how the Tatanka spun 100 times.
So that Hogan mail-away in the bag is like $1,200 right now.
Jesus.
And Taker and Brett, if you can even find them for purchase, are like $4,000 or $5,000 each. Yeah.
So I do remember getting the Hogan. I don't think I had the other two.
They were very similar.
That's kind of the issue is that so many people just got the Hogan. So there's a lot more of him in circulation than the Brett and the Undertaker.
Yeah, I just remember literally painting that Hogan into an NWO Hogan.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You would hate, like if you came to my house back in the day, it was just heads everywhere, bodies everywhere, like legs everywhere. And I was like, okay, how am I going to do this? And my friend would say, dude, why don't you buy two? And I'm like, yeah, James, you're rich. I'm not. Like, I can only afford one. And especially at $35 a pop,
Yeah.
So, yeah. Like I said, the Hasbro, if I went to your guys' house, I would just be in like it's like fantasy world for me. I just, like I said, I'm really into them. And then I never saw a lot of them mint on card because I did buy a lot of them loose. So, except for that one Christmas that mom hit the lottery.
Right.
That was it.
Did you collect any other type of toys besides wrestling or just wrestling?
So when I was very little, He-Man and Superman, and I always used to lose the cape on Superman, which had like and it had on the top of the cape, it had like a little plastic piece that bent a little bit.
Yeah.
So I would always lose the cape, and my mom would always have to buy me a new one, and she would get mad that they wouldn't just sell the cape. And but then once wrestling took over and baseball went on strike, because I had starting lineups as well. Once baseball went on strike, that was it. It was wrestling, and I never turned back. Like I played baseball in high school, didn't really care, and I was pretty good too, but it didn't matter to me. Like I wanted to be a wrestler. That was it. They never go on strike, because we're all stupid. We probably could have went on strike and made it worth our while, but no one will do it.
Didn't miss a second of wrestling in COVID.
Yeah. Not
pretty
even
unreal.
Close.
Yeah,
Not
pretty
even
unreal.
Close. So, I mean, like I said, I the Hasbros, man, that's where it's at. I wish with those new ones, like I wish I know who Mattel makes the new WWE ones.
Mattel, yeah.
Okay, where's Hasbro? They out of business.
No, Hasbro is still kicking, but they don't do wrestling. They do Star Wars. They do a lot of big lines.
Yeah.
Okay, wrestling. So you posted a picture the other day of your Star Wars toys.
Yeah. So
my brother has those. He was a Star Wars guy. So he has like all of them at my mom's house still. And he lives in Germany. So I don't know what he's going to do with them. But I remember he had like I'm going to get this wrong, but it was like the Boba Fett with the something on the leg or I forget what it was.
No. Even I know what that is. Right?
He was like missiles, real serious with it.
It's worth
is that like a thing?
Right?
I think I don't
the
know. The
original Boba Fett has like different versions of the jetpack that's like worth money.
No, there's no way he has that. That's like from the 80s. I think he might be like the logo on his hand, maybe. Like
I don't know. There was something different about it that my brother was like really anal about. Like, hey, I need this one because it's got this, and so he was into Star Wars and Magic the Gathering cards. He collected those. So, and then I would spin Tatanka around, go up behind his head, and just let go, and just let him get smacked in the head.
that was my hurt, man.
Yeah, exactly. That hurt. But I didn't do it. Tatanka did. That's not my fault. Right. So
now, do you have both? Did you have both Tatankas, even though they're the same?
No, come on.
No, I didn't. What do you mean they were the same? but different.
So Brutus.
Sorry, I'm looking at Brian.
Oh, Brutus the Barber Beefcake was supposed to come out in Mega Maniacs gear in like the yellow and the red, but it got replaced.
Yep. It's that purple. Remember that one set that's all purple carding? It's like the Steiners and Doink.
Doink.
Yeah. He's supposed to be in that.
Yeah, so they replaced him last minute, and they just re-released Tatanka.
It's just that same Tatanka re-released. Yeah,
same Tatanka.
Yeah, very different packaging though, because it's purple. I mean, you can tell the difference, but that's it.
So
if they didn't want to make the white pants Tatanka, huh? That would have been a cool one. Remember, he had the white tights.
Originally,
it was supposed to be a white pants, like a jumper. He was supposed to be a jumper. And then they gave him this Texas Tornado body, which doesn't quite make sense, but it works.
I always liked it as a kid.
Yeah, I thought.
Yeah, it was a cool. I mean, it was a cool. I liked his hair. That was always cool, you know, the red part on top. And I know that's the other thing I thought about the Hasbros is they just looked a lot more like the wrestlers. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just remember like growing up thinking like, oh, these, you know, this looked like them, you know.
I agree too. A lot of people like have this weird, like, I don't know if their memory is like fogged or what, that these figures like lack detail. But if you look up close and personal, they like are perfect to pictures of these people. Like maybe the paint application isn't so detailed, but the actual sculpting is incredible.
Oh yeah.
Especially if it's the body that's really supposed to be for the guy, not like when it's reused. Sure. Yeah, of course.
I never understood the Bret Hart, right? He was just so thick. Why? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
I think he's getting that top guy push. You know, the figure had the same. I love that.
Yeah,
figure,
he was like, "Hey Vince, if you're gonna make my action figure, it's got to be the biggest."
Yeah, it's got to be the same size as Hogan, please.
Right. Like the video game stuff that they always joke about with Triple H, which is probably true too. You know, like his stats have to be a certain level.
That's yeah.
You know,
I'm pretty sure his Mattel figures have to have like shredded quads. Shredded, like be like the most insane body, like not even like a real human body.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hey,
I don't blame him. I would do the same.
You did do the same thing.
No, Broski did do this. I've been on emails where Broski asked to be more jacked in a toy line that we're working on.
Well, because here's the thing: there's this company, Super 7. They make the New Japan figures, and they're making ours. And we got the prototype, and like I know that they have a more jacked torso, which is more, you know, it's more accurate to me. So I just wrote like, I'm not asking you to create a new mold. Like, can we
basically
use this other torso?
Can I be Tanahashi? Is what he said. Basically,
that's what I said.
Right. Well, I mean, up close, I mean, he's got Tanahashi by about 3 inches and about 40 pounds, probably.
So I don't know whose torso it was. It was just a little too smooth.
Yeah. Well, if you were gonna make a Hasbro of you, I'll ask all of you guys, what would it be?
Well, I get shit for this, but I liked the jumpers when I was a kid because they threw good drop kicks and whatever, and I loved the rockers and stuff, and they both had that. So that's when Zombie Sailor, you know, let us kind of half design ours. I said, oh, I got to be a jumper because I'm the only one saying it. Literally every time I say that, people go, oh, God, I hated the jumpers. But I loved them.
Well, you just, you know, their feet were together. That's the only part. If you could get past the part of their feet, you know. But what about the Warrior, the Giant Gonzalez that, like, he pushed up and down?
And Skinner does that too. It's so
Skinner,
bizarre.
yeah.
I want someone to do the noogie and the headlock and the punch.
Yeah. That was the other thing is, like, I remember seeing Ric Flair not in person, but on TV.
Yeah.
And, like, why did they make him so skinny? Like, that's not what he looked like, you know?
A rough one, yeah.
Even Rick Rude, Rick Rude is even worse.
Like, supposed to be jacked and, like,
right.
He is lean. And the body works perfectly for 1, 2, 3 Kid later, but, like, not for Rick Rude.
Yeah. For him, no problem. Yeah. So Matt, what about you? Who would you use?
I think so. Like Brian said, with the Zombie Sailor toys, we were really able to kind of design, and I did like a mixture of like a Hogan 1 and Warrior 2 with the gorilla press. That was such like a classic pose. I think like that gorilla press. You know, like a Sid Justice.
Sid had that cool stomach too.
Yeah,
his was a different stomach. You know,
he was like the only one that had that, right?
It was like meant for him. Mm-hmm. You know, it was like not a 6-pack, but you could tell he was ripped. You know,
those are Hogan legs, Hogan arms, but that's a Sid
Justice different
stomach.
torso. Yeah,
Sid Justice. Yeah,
nice.
But they didn't do him like his. So I would use the Galoobs with the Hasbros like until they made a Hasbro, for instance, like the Flair or the Sid. But I thought that the Galoob Flair and Galoob Sid were way better,
100%
than the Hasbro Flair and Sid.
Yeah,
the Flair was the best. I mean, you could throw him right off the top rope. He took a perfect bump every time.
It was a great
That's true. Yeah,
and he had the chop hand.
Yeah, exactly. You know.
Yeah. I'll never forget. I had him doing the patented Ric Flair knee drop to the Macho King in the head. I hit him so hard the head popped off.
Oh man,
jeez, bro.
Jesus,
I was a very hard hitting.
You're a hard player. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, if maybe one day I'll go back to the customizing. I still have about 4 Rick Martels and about 8 Santinos that I bought all loose. Just in case, and I still in the box. This is
going to be a big gimmick table item. I feel like is what.
Dude, I have the paint upstairs and everything. And my wife came home one day and was just like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Well, I'm painting." And she's like, "Okay." Like, I'm like, "Hey, it could be worse. I could be out trying to look for girls. Like, leave me alone.
I think you got to do this stuff. You got to collect the Hasbros. You got to customize some QT figures.
Yeah, start slow.
Because this is what I think is going to happen. I think. Your QT figure is probably going to come out, and then you're going to like wish that you'd already been collecting this whole time. So if you start now,
that's true.
Get a little display going. The QT could be the centerpiece of that display.
100%, you need that.
Yeah. Well, how do they do those? Like someone sent Cody a Dusty Hasbro, the giant one, like the two, whatever.
Two up.
So can you just run me like what is that?
So
Cody's is a custom, correct?
Yes, Cody's is a custom.
Yeah.
So because it has an AEW shirt on. So it's definitely a custom.
Yeah.
Okay.
In theory, back in the day, like I said, before computers and everything like that, they would make the figures double the size. They were called 2-ups, and that's how they would get the paint schemes down, and everything, and then they would shrink them down. So those were meant to be destroyed, but some have survived. Like I have a couple in my collection, but now people are so talented; they know how to like 3D print these things and make them look.
Oh, okay.
So,
okay.
I mean, it's dangerous because if you don't know what you're looking for, you could be fooled. Obviously, that's not real because he's wearing an AEW shirt. But if someone made a Dusty, if you're not that knowledgeable, you could be fooled because that's how good these guys are.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, it's one of those ones that I saw and I was like, oh my god! Like I remember the string one, right? Like you were talking about the bigger one. Like the Hogan looked like the Hogan.
Sure,
there's just a giant version. You know, same legs, same arms, same everything. At least from what I remember. Maybe I'm wrong.
Pretty much,
very similar.
Yeah. So I just remember seeing that one, thinking like, oh man, that's what I would want. I would want a giant QT figure, like 12 inches.
When this interview drops, I have a feeling.
I know exactly. Dave Wheeler, what are you doing?
Yeah, you're going to be tagged in a lot of stuff.
He's playing all along because now he wants
that's the only thing I wanted. I don't care about anything else. I just want someone to make me this figure. Well, so realistically, it should probably be like Jim Neidhart, but he had abs too, which is weird. Yeah, so that would be
right next to me. He has like abs on top of a gut. It's like we actually just discussed it last week on the show. It's like perfect.
He's got like the Brock Lesnar, like Brock's body. You know what I mean? I don't know. I was always a big fan of either the Ted DiBiase or Hogan with the punch. But their boots are too tall.
That could work. Yeah.
Yeah, the boots are a little too tall, so we'd have to, get the Dremel out and shave the boots down a little bit.
Big Dremel guy.
The original
Big Dremel guy we found out.
Yeah. What's that now?
The original Macho with the trunks is really a basic.
Like the orange one?
Yeah.
Is that the one with the model body, Rick Martel?
Yeah, Rick Martel and Sean.
Yeah. I always thought those were like the smaller guys, And I'm,
all right.
I'm not big by any means, but I'm 6 foot 240, which I guess was their size back in the day, right? Rick Martel would have trumped me, I don't know. I guess I always liked the Macho King one too. It just had a cool look. He wasn't too jacked. I mean, kind of thin at the waist, but
Actually,
we'll see. I don't know
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I don't know.
What about Greg the Hammer Valentine? Maybe?
Oh shit, that's a little I mean, he had that shin guard though.
That's right.
You got a Dremel. Well, he's looking for a reason to use that Dremel. I could tell.
Yeah, I just want to use the Dremel.
Well, you can always pop the legs up. Use someone else's legs, maybe.
Yeah, that's
true.
You're
gonna have 6 coming your way in a month.
Oh my god, I guarantee it.
I hope so, and I want them to make a Hasbro card though. It has to be on the card too.
Or you know what we could do? We could do a QT in street clothes using nails.
Oh, that's cool.
Nails.
Yeah. He always that one always had the tiny legs though. It was like the legs are so small. Like So maybe they weren't as good as we think. Is that the one that the arm went up and his leg like went into his torso to go up and down?
I'm pretty sure.
No. He does it. He just does a regular like arm twist thing.
So who had that one?
That's DiBiase 2. DiBiase 2.
Is that Green DiBiase?
Green DiBiase, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And
so
IRS
nowadays.
IRS does that too, right?
IRS. That was the other one. IRS.
It's the only suited figure, so that's what I'll paint that one up first.
Customize the DiBiase to make a. Mark
so the Honky Tonk Man was another one that I really liked. I don't know why, even though he was in full getup. I liked just the way the figure looked.
It does look cool,
and that was a really good one to make customs from because there were so many guys that wore pants and jackets and stuff. That one and there was one more. Oh, the $1 Million Man, the black tuxedo.
Yeah,
that was another cool one.
Would you Dremel off all the because the detailing on Honky's like 3D, so you'd have to like flatten all that.
100%. All those little dots.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah, the Dremel. So it used to be sandpaper, and then my grandfather was like, "You're spending a lot of time doing this. Let's go." It was like an $89 Dremel, and it had all the attachments. You had the wire brush in case you really had to mess with them, or you just put the little sandpaper, like it was like a cone, like a round thing. You just slid it on the end, and it was, and you would just buzz it down. You know?
Wow. That seems easy.
It was easy. Oh yeah, we were like a little plant down in his basement, just going. His parents were. I mean, we weren't doing drugs, so they were happy.
Yeah, right.
We were just making action figures.
I say the same thing about all the wives that get mad about this show because dudes listen to it and get all itchy and buy all this expensive shit. I'm like, there's way worse stuff they could be doing than collecting wrestling.
Yeah, you're gonna get mad at me for playing with toys. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
At least you know where he is.
You talk about scars on your hands. Like I have similar scars because I wasn't as professional as you, obviously. So I would take like an X-Acto knife because Austin was really popular junior high. So I would take that Warlord and turn it into Austin. Yeah. So I would like carve off the mask and then take sandpaper to smooth it out. But there's so many. I'm looking at scars right now on my fingers. Just X-Acto knife. Just because I had to carve up that.
You're not handy or artistic, so I couldn't imagine this.
Well, the biggest thing with the X-Acto knife is that I would burn all my blades, but you hold the lighter to it, get it really hot, and then it's smooth. It just like butter. It just cuts right through the hard plastic.
I wasn't doing that. Wow.
Yeah, and then my friend, he would try, and then he would always slice this part of. I mean,
that's scars. That's what it is.
Yeah. I was very careful. I just have a paranoia of cutting my hands. Like that's why I've never been in a fight in real life because I just don't want to break. I don't want to cut my hands open or hurt my hands. So like every little nick that I get on my hands, like it bothers me because then it's going to hurt when I, shower. Like it just stings. It's when you go to eat and you get some vinegar,
like a paper cut,
ketchup, anything.
The worst. Yeah,
it's the worst. Like I'd rather you punch me in the face. Don't cut my hands. So I was very, very careful with that. Plus, I always knew if I cut my hand open, like my mom was that was it. It was like, hey, we're going to let you do this and be a little lunatic in the basement. But if you come upstairs hurting or whatever, like we're going to take it all away. So, and I needed the Shawn Michaels with the Alamo Dome tights. You know what I mean? Like you just needed it, that was the one I remember. We went downstairs and just started painting away. We cut his sunglasses off and created little eyes. Like, they look, giant eyes, you know what I mean? But we did it.
Tough. That's really
tough. Did it, Yeah. Because the head was really cool. He did have a cool head on that Hasbro
I love that figure.
It's just the sunglasses, Yeah, the black tights was the cool one too. For me at least.
That one's another one that's like skyrocketed in value.
Really?
Yeah, big time.
Man, I must have paid $6 for that one. Back when,
Yeah.
Because that wasn't at KB, that was at some random place down the street.
Caldor. I got mine at Caldor for some reason I remember.
Caldor, yeah. I know. Yeah, we had a Caldor right down the road. My mom hated me making her drive all
two
these
KBs. That's I'm gonna
2
that's a big
KBs.
takeaway for me from this.
Yeah, 303-9595 and 462-8921. I think I'll look it up.
Insane.
Yeah, wow. I mean that's just. I used to come home from school, go right downstairs, get the phone and just call right away. 3 for 10. 3 for 10. So wow. I don't know why they were selling them so cheap.
3 for
10 was a game changer, yeah.
Oh my God.
That's how I got a lot of guys I never had when they
yellow card.
Yeah.
Yeah. They didn't care. They didn't know the difference, know. we knew, but it didn't matter to me. I didn't hold on to them. I just ruined them anyway. So
it's very easy to see where the work ethic came from. You're still working away here in professional wrestling.
That's it.
Doing the same stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
hoping out of this interview we get some customizers coming your way. We got a couple people in our group who make custom. So I don't know if we have any Hasbro customizers in there, but we might be able to get someone who can do like a It has to be Hasbro. Why make a custom AEW Jazzwares? Because that's coming.
Yeah.
That's got to be coming.
No. Yeah, I've been scanned.
Yeah, that's a waste.
I've been scanned. I made my face that they made me make, 3 different faces. I did, a smile, which I don't like. And then my mean face, which isn't that mean, but, I just do that thing. So hopefully that works.
Figure.
You could get multiple heads in there, though, so that maybe be a wasted effort.
Maybe, As long as it has nice hair in the front and no bald spot. If not, I'll just cover the bald spot myself. I'll go every
I would do the same thing.
You go to the store and open them all.
Guys.
Paint the.
What's that?
Yeah,
You go to the store and open them all.
That's it. Yeah.
Did you know there was a Galoob WCW Arn Anderson with a bald spot, and he complained and they filled it in?
Really?
Yeah.
I was always wondering.
It's a running change.
So I had the Arn Anderson.
Yeah. So there's bald ones and not bald ones, but it's like a running change where they fix them because he was not happy.
So if you look, it's just painted on. It's just a painted on like scalp. Like they didn't mold it or anything like that. They just painted it over, which is fine. If I was Arn, I would be pissed too. Fill me in, baby.
Of course. Yeah. And they, that's the other thing is I think I would want my action figure to have chest hair, even though I don't have a lot of it, because I don't use a razor on my chest ever. I always just buzz. I would like to have a little bit of Razor Ramon style. I was always mad they didn't put Razor's chest hair, because that was part of like what made him cool in my mind back in the day. I agree. Like I said, I'm a big Hasbro guy. I didn't pay attention too much when they started doing Titantron Live, and you just couldn't, it just wasn't as obviously I was older too. So, but the Hasbro's was where it's at.
Well, we all vote that you get back into it.
I'm saying you
gotta just dip your toe.
Yeah.
Dip your toe. You don't have to jump in.
Right.
Get a couple of the main guys. That's all.
Maybe download the eBay app after we hang up here and dabble around.
That's how it starts. That's how it starts.
Yeah.
And then I'll be texting you guys. Hey, is this too much money? Am I paying too much for this? Well, someone had set Cody up with whoever it was that just started mailing action figures to the school.
Cody convinced me that he was going to. He's like, I'm deciding. This was right before or right as the AEW figures are coming out. I was like, I think I want to collect all my own figures. So I was like tracking them down and like finding them. And then like half the time he wouldn't even tell me like, thank you, like I got them. So
does he even have like his old stuff or everything?
I think he just wanted every Rhodes figure ever, like Cody, Dusty, Dustin.
Wow.
I think he just wants.
That's cool.
He just wants
a cool collection.
I was trying to do it, and then I just wasn't sure if he was continuing with it. And then you would tell me that like I sent it to the school, but like Cody would never pick it up. So I'm like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
And then once by accident, I sent like a British Bulldog by accident.
Yeah, the Jax figure still had the price on it.
Yeah,
I gave it to a student. I gave it to one of the kids here that's a collector. So,
oh my god.
So Cody has me blocked on Twitter, and it's because of not blocked. I was blocked. Now I'm just not friends with him on Twitter. But it's because of this story. They were like they made this thing called Stack Down, or like these Lego figures, and they make Stardust and Gold Dust. Now this is the time where Cody was Stardust, but was telling the whole world that he wasn't Cody.
These are Legos, right?
So these fake bootleg Legos, and it's clearly Stardust and Goldust, but the package says the Rhodes Brothers. So I posted it on Twitter. I'm like, proof that Cody Rhodes is Stardust, and he blocked me.
Jesus.
Well, we got the clickbait headline now for the interview. It's great.
At least kayfabe's alive for somebody.
That's my biggest thing about doing podcasts. I always say some stuff that they turn right into clickbait. So I'm trying to be as cautious as possible. Then I get
Marshall cuts hands as youth.
Yeah.
Childhood QT visits strip club with Undertaker, I think. Is what we're gonna get out.
I thought that this was going to be a safe one, that I couldn't get in trouble if I got on this one. But what it was that, Elektra from ECW helped run the nightclub part of it.
Oh,
so
wow.
that's how we got into wrestling.
Yeah. And that was Big Dick's ex-wife, right?
Right. Yes.
Big Dick Dudley.
And there's another nickname she had. I don't think I could say it, but she was like, no, I'm not going to say it. Anyway, we can offline about it. But yeah, everyone knew her. Let's put it that way. And but yeah, that was like literally the thing. AJ's, and I would go there and I met Marty Jannetty. I mean, it's all the people you would think.
You could probably go there right now. Marty Jannetty's there.
Yeah, he's still there now.
He's still outside, sleeping in his car.
And they would just like walk around. I thought it was the weirdest thing. Like Undertaker had these 8x10s that were already Sharpied. And then like he just pulled it out and with a pen wrote to Michael, which is my real name. And I was just like, all right, this is cool, you know? And then we're like, all right, time to go home. And granted, we lived like 45 minutes from the bar. So it wasn't like hey, just go around the corner, like wake my dad up, make him drive us all the way there. Meet this guy who was just trying to watch the girls. You know, he would say hi and then we just would leave.
Wow.
And, you know, luckily I had good parents like that. And I got an 8x10, you know?
That 8x10 is probably worth a lot right now, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't have it anymore. I don't have anything. Literally, like.
Except for a Brian Myers signed.
That was.
That. And then the Blue Blazer. And when I used to meet all these wrestlers at the promotion, like the trading shows, I would draw a picture, like a giant poster board. And the only one I have left is Shawn Michaels. And I met Jericho, Bret Hart, Test, Road Dogg and Kane, The Rock, giant poster boards. The only one I have that's made all the moves. They would sign it? Yeah, and they would sign it. And 9 out of 10 times, unless they were an asshole, they would actually write a note on it too. Because, you know, it's something personal. It's not like a 8x10, you know? Right. And I remember The Rock, like on my picture with The Rock that I'll send Mark as well. It's sitting in front of him as we took the Polaroid, because that was like you get a Polaroid for like X amount, an 8x10 or your own personal item. And he wrote like, Mike, know your role, The Rock. And then my friend got the Polaroid and he literally just put an R on it. I was like, man, you got gypped, dude. Like this guy wrote a whole note to me. He loves me, you know? Yeah. And he gained a fan for life because of that. And then, 100%. You know, I remember the ones that didn't Test, you know, he just wrote Test. And I'm like, fuck you, dude. Like, you could tell I even spent no time on this drawing. Like, I didn't even care about you, you know? So it's not even shaded in or anything, which is probably why he just wrote Test. It was a terrible drawing, you know?
Test, not impressed.
Yeah, not impressed.
QT, this is, I was blown away by your knowledge.
Yeah,
I was very impressed.
That was fun, man.
Dude, anytime we want to talk Hasbro's, I'm good. Once we get into the other stuff, it's hard for me to, you know, remember everything. But Hasbro's, man.
That's why it's so popular right now, because obviously, like, how you feel about it, you know, those sentimental feelings and memories you can't replace, you know, and that's, we all, you know, all of us that grew up with these things feel the same way, you know, so you can just kind of, it just makes you feel good. It's hard to even explain. Yeah.
Yeah. You just remember, like I said, all the little things that I remember growing up, and the how hard it was to rest the guy on Razor Ramon's arm for a razor's edge. Like, it's just hard to rest him there, you know? And then, like, Undertaker had to do the choke slam with the left arm because the right had the closed fist. But you remember those things, you know, and you make it work. You know, you just play with them in front of the mirror, and then no one knows the difference, you know?
Right.
So,
well, man, we're proud of your success. I believe wholeheartedly that a QT Marshall is coming very soon from Jazzwares, and we'll be equally excited. Not as excited as your mom, though, right? She's getting the first one.
No, she's literally – so real quick, so she's friends with Wardlow's mom. Wardlow's mom had posted like the artwork of him. Mm-hmm. I think it was the artwork. Maybe it was his figure.
It's a render. It's just the render so far, I think.
The render, And then she literally, it was 40 text messages. I don't understand what is going on. I'm like, Mom, he's in the biggest group, like the heel group in AEW. And she's like, I don't understand. You started before him. You work in the back. And I'm like, Mom, that's not how this works. Like, it's a business, you know? So she just, I'm like, you know what? Tony, can I just get scanned at least, you know? And then, well, the worst part is, like, they sent the list to scan people, and someone messaged me like, hey, are you getting scanned? I was like, I didn't know what it was. Like, when are we doing it? And I wasn't on the list. So I nicely asked, hey, I don't know if I need to be free that day. And then it came out like, oh yeah, you and Anthony Agogo need to get scanned. We just forgot to put you on the list. Like, there were 2 open time slots. So it wasn't like they were just being nice to me, but still it was like, I was trying to tiptoe around asking without like, hey, what the hell, you know?
Yeah.
Because I already missed the first batch back at All Out 2019. And I remember I missed that and the concussion protocol. And that was because I told Cody, like, hey, do I need to go to this? He's like, you're not a wrestler. You're not going to be a wrestler in AEW. And I was just like, okay, well, I'll just go back to fucking just sitting here on my hands then while everyone else is. So now, whether I get an action figure or if I can cuss somebody, you know, up until we did the one with Chris Nowitzki visiting us in Jacksonville, I was okay to concuss people. So I never did, but, you know, at least I would have had an out. So it would have been Cody's fault.
Well, we're hoping you get one, but I'm really hoping selfishly that you build a collection so you have something for QT to go. He can't just be sitting there on the shelf by himself.
I don't know.
He needs his other favorites around him.
Well, right now it'll be QT, Brodus, Kurt Hawkins, Dustin, Gold Dust, and a Cody figure.
So basically just a bunch of guys to put Brodus over, you just named, huh?
Yeah, and weirdly, I have this weird, like, Legends in a box Captain Lou Albano.
Oh,
I don't know what it is.
Oh, yeah. Those are the precursor to the ROH figures, by the way, same company.
Okay, so that came in the package with this Kurt Hawkins one from my aunt. It was that. It was just like a gift bag full of that.
He has an eye for quality, I guess. Okay.
Yeah, there was a random. Well, Captain Lou managed me once on an indie show in New Jersey.
Okay.
Oh, well, that was.
I was gonna suggest that, but you've been in the business too long and done too much to like just collect people you've worked with or whatever. But it's probably too much.
You know what I do wish before we go? I wish I would have taken pictures with all of the guys I worked with because I never did because the way I was brought in, you just didn't do that.
We talk about that all the time. It's like in retrospect, I wish I would have, but that wasn't. You would have gotten kicked out of the locker room.
Very frowned upon when we all started, but now I'm like kicking myself, like
Yeah, I remember, Brian. Actually, where I met you was JCW, right back in. It was like Howell, New Jersey.
It's my my first day fired.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but there was
fired on Thursday. I worked there Friday.
Yeah. Well, there was a show that used to run that area that was like a ticket seller, rinky-dink promotion. But because I was always able to sell the most tickets because I lived in the areas, he always paired me with all like the legends he brought in. So like I got managed. Yeah, Dapper, right? Yeah. So like he let Paul Bearer manage me once, and I wrestled teamed with Kamala, like, and all these things that I did. Yeah. I don't have any pictures, like nothing. And I always thought like, granted they probably would have, like Matt said, kicked you out of the locker room at the time, but
those guys would have. It would have been a moment, like, and they would have forgot.
Right? Yeah,
nerve-wracking for you, but you get it and it's done, and then Paul Bearer would have forgot. You know what I mean? So who cares?
Yeah,
we're all in the same boat.
Is that the kid I met at AJ's in Sea Caucus when he was 6? I was just trying to look at the girls.
Yeah.
So
there's no way.
Well, hell yeah, dude! This was fun, man. I was blown away by your knowledge. I'm really hoping that you start this collection. I think you'd really, I think you'd have a lot of fun with it. It's cool to go down memory lane. That's why this podcast has taken off because so many people are just like us. Like, and once we get started, we just keep buying more shit. I'm not saying you got to buy everything, but I'm telling you, if you got some of your favorites, you'll be hooked, dude.
At least
how much? Okay, how much do you think you would spend on a full set of Hasbro's been on card?
Oh, bro, over $10K.
And good luck, like finding it to do it.
You can't, right?
Not in like one shot. You have to find someone who's just tapping out or like.
Like I did it by chance like 2 years ago. Like I found some guy who had the whole thing, and it was like a $10,000 deal 2 years ago. So it's probably more than that now.
I'd say it's double. Yeah, close to double at this point.
That's not terrible. But I mean, it is a lot of money.
Loose mint,
I think,
and you can put together the whole thing.
Yeah.
But it's got to be mint. You can't get the played with.
Right, and you got to get a glass. Well, I'm going to message when I get off here. I'm going to message James, and then I'll get the pictures of his customized NWO that he has and his Gold Dust, which is really cool too. The Gold Dust was really cool. Like that's a full molded head and everything that this guy made.
How do you even do that? No one has hair like that.
Right, so it's nuts. But
I used to use Mr. Perfect in the yellow as Gold Dust, and then I used to use Mr. Perfect in the blue and yellow as Sunny from the Body Battles.
That's great. That's great. Sunny was the day before Triple H in China at the mall. That it was SummerSlam weekend when Austin broke his neck. So it was Triple H in China, and then Sunny was the other day. And she signed I have the shirt still. I Like It Raw shirt with the Q stick.
Yeah.
And I have it. I literally at my house still where it says Sunny because I remember she grabbed me by the front of my shirt and I thought she was going after the good place. Yeah. And man, I'll never forget. She got a fan for life.
Man.
So,
hell yeah.
But yeah, like I said, I'll send you guys over those pictures and stuff. But anytime you guys want to talk, as long as it doesn't take up too much of your time, this was fun.
Cool, man.
I promise we'll have you back on when that QT figure drops.
Hell yeah.
Okay, perfect.
We'll unbox it live on Twitch. That's what
let's unbox it live on Twitch. Yeah, we'll make a big deal of it. Cool.
Oh yeah, you'll have to set me up with that because I don't know how to do that.
Just like this.
It's a link. So it's a link.
Okay.
We got you.
All right. Sounds good.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, dude. Appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you.